Hi, my name's Alex Smith. I'm one of the dentists and owners of Denture Artistry, Implants, Crowns, Veneers. And I wanted to talk to you guys today about what we're all about here. And I also wanted to introduce our head of the removable department, Jonathan Manley. He is a denturist from Colorado, and he was heavily headhunted by us. We were looking for the best of the best as a denture artist and a denturist to come and work for us, because our name is, after all, Denture Artistry, Implants, Crowns, Veneers. So I often refer to this guy as the LeBron James of denturism. Uh, Removable prosthetics and dentures in general has been a very important component of many people's oral health care. In fact, about 25% of people in Oregon don't have teeth. So what we wanted to do was really focus on helping those people in need. And Jonathan's story just really inspired me when I met him. And he said that the proof would be in the pudding when it comes to the quality of care that he can provide for our patients. And I'm happy to say that it's been like nothing I've ever seen before. It's been amazing. So with that, I wanted to introduce Jonathan Manley and let him tell his story about how he got here.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah.
As you said, my name is Jonathan. I've been making dentures and learning to do it better since the age of 12.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
My father was a denturist for about 50 years. He began my training very young and proceeded up until about the age 19. Began to work for multiple commercial labs, kind of picking up the new and innovative ideas as we went along and leaving the kind of the crappy ones behind.
So you were 12 when you started?
I was actually 8 years old when I started. I started
Wow.
earning a paycheck at the age of 12.
There we go.
Yeah, and it's definitely not something that you hear every day. But
Yeah.
As a kid, I thought it was cool. It was a heck of a lot better than saying "Welcome to McDonald's."
No kidding. And so you've had, even though it doesn't seem like it based on your age, you've had over 30 years of experience making teeth.
Correct. I'm 44 now, so we're at about 32 years.
There we go.
Um, throughout my career, one narrative tends to remain the same. Uh, the level of care put into dentures has drastically declined over the years.
Absolutely.
It appears that it's become more about a conveyor belt type system where we just get them in, we get them out. The general narrative or stigma, I should say, that's placed on removable or dentures is that they don't work, and it's going to be a nightmare for whatever dentist has to handle it.
That's right. Nobody's ever happy, and they just don't fit well, and you just kind of have to deal with it.
Yeah, and they've completely embraced and adopted that narrative, and it shows every day. You have more and more corporate style places opening up, especially since Medicare has started paying a fair wage for dentures, and they just have the get you in, get you out mentality. And if we happen to give you a set of dentures that looks okay and functions, then well, you hit the lotto.
No kidding.
And if you don't, well, sorry. We did the best we could. Have a nice day. That's generally their mentality.
Right. So I don't have nearly the skill set as Jonathan here in terms of making dentures, and that's why, as a dentist, I felt it very important to partner with our colleagues in helping people achieve optimal oral health, having a nice smile, a nice bite, a nice quality of life. And the thing that I noticed in some of my different career opportunities, such as working at clinics that were heavily Medicaid based, different private practice mom and pop shops, and dental service organizations like Jonathan was describing, corporate dental offices, is that it was up to me to make these teeth. And the thing is, as a dentist, it's a very cumbersome process, and also we're not in complete control of it because we don't have a lab, a removable lab in our offices most of the time. So we're taking impressions, sending them out to labs. And furthermore, there's not much incentive for a dentist to focus on this, what I like to call almost a lost art, because essentially, the average fee per arch in Central Oregon for dentures is about $1,400. The average fee for a crown is about $1,350. And how many steps is there in making a denture? I mean,
it is pretty extensive.
Right.
It is pretty extensive. There are a lot of steps, but at the same time, that's kind of what where attention to detail comes in. That's kind of what makes it almost a simple process in the fact that if you pay attention to detail, the devil is certainly in the details. That you repeat the process over and over again. As long as you are doing that, there's no reason why you can't come out with a very highly aesthetic and fully functioning set of dentures every time.
Absolutely. Well, I know that a lot of dentists, such as myself, are very thankful that we have, uh, high quality labs and technicians that we work with indirectly. But here at Denture Artistry and Plant Ceramics Engineers, we have our own lab in house. So that's where you will find Mr. Jonathan Manley hanging out, making beautiful sets of teeth. And what are some of the advantages of having an in-house dental lab?
I mean, honestly, it's the best way to go. One of the biggest issues with making dentures and having them actually come out fully functional and aesthetic is the breakdown between the office and the lab. Your average routine is you go into an office, they take an impression, uh, and a lot of times it's not even you don't even see the dentist. The assistant will take the impression, an assistant will take your bite, they'll package that up, send it off to a lab. That lab doesn't know that patient from Adam. They see a faceless set of models, and they go through their routine. They tend to have a very small selection of teeth that they like. They're not actually looking at the patient's upper arch and seeing the shape of it, and then measuring and picking out the right shape and size teeth for that person.
Right.
They're simply looking at it and just slapping it in there. They send it back for a wax try-in. Again, a lot of times you don't even have the dentist in the process. The assistant will try the denture in, will take a look at it, and whether or not they're equipped and trained to do that properly it's actually rare that they are.
No kidding.
The dentist may pop in for a second, take a look, and say, "Oh yeah, that looks great," and then they're sending it right off. When you're working with an office with an in-house lab, especially working with a denturist as well, you're working with someone who specializes in the process of making dentures from impression to insertion. So they're involved in the process 100% for the whole time. They take the impressions, they get the jaw relation, they actually construct the denture from start to finish.
They see the patient's face right there.
They see the patient's face. They get a chance to see and hear what that patient's story is, what they've been through, and they get to put all of that in to making an amazing smile and a fully functioning set of dentures.
Absolutely, and collaborating with your denturist colleague in-house is just amazing, especially when it comes to surgical aspects of it. Of course, we prefer to support our dentures, whether overdenture or fixed, with implants. But that being said, oftentimes people are coming into our practice with a failing set of teeth, and so to be able to collaborate with Jonathan and Aaron, who's our other denturist here in house, and saying, we're going to be removing these teeth here. We're going to be shaping the bone like this. Perhaps we're growing bone with grafting or whatever. All that can be communicated. And our surgical suites are literally just 10 feet away from our lab. So we just walk right down the hallway and we can pop in and out of surgery and make sure that these patients are leaving with the best fitting healing dentures or immediate dentures immediately after surgery. To me, that's just amazing relative to what we've done in the past in situations in which we don't have in-house dental labs or dentures.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the biggest failures in removable in the dentist industry today is the breakdown of communication. Being able to communicate between the patient and the doctor and just being on the same page with everything that we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times the patient comes into the office and they've got certain requests, they've got certain things that they're worried about, and none of those things get transferred to the lab that's going to make the dentures.
Right.
Even just a picture would
Sure.
help,
Absolutely.
which is not necessary where we're at because we end up seeing the patient face to face. We end up interacting with them and being able to hear their concerns and their worries.
Right.
And we'd be good at it.
That's right. Yes, we are. So we've been talking a lot about what we do. I really want to hear your story. Why were you drawn to the opportunity to come out here to Bend from Colorado and work with us?
Well, I should start with I moved to Colorado, Denver, when I was 16, and between that time and the age of 25, I worked in numerous commercial labs, and basically what I was doing all of that time was I was learning to make dentures fast,
Right.
and picking up ways to make them better and have a higher quality along the way. And many times in opposition to the people I worked for, because they didn't want to hear or entertain any new innovative ideas. They had their way of doing it, and that way is God.
Right.
And they did not want to hear it. But I began to realize that the best way to learn how to make dentures is the way I'm going to learn tomorrow. And it constantly progressing and moving forward. Eventually, I moved to Colorado Springs. Took my first management position at a commercial lab, and that's where I learned all about implants.
Sure.
In fact, took a hefty pay cut to do so.
Yeah.
But it was worth it.
Right.
Everything I learned there prepared me for all-on-4 hybrid screw retained dentures and all types of basically every type of implant there is, even back to some crazy ones that are outdated.
You've been doing implants since before I was in dental school.
Yes, sir.
Well, restoring them with denture teeth, that is. But...
Yeah, I'm still a young guy.
Yeah. How about
Yeah, after managing there, once I basically had learned all I could learn there, I went on to another place to manage, and I kind of got the same feel that things weren't going to really happen. I wasn't going to be able to do things the way I knew they should be done.
Right.
Until I opened my own lab. So I did that. I opened my own lab. It was called a Step Above Dental Lab, and I quickly became the most prominent dental lab in Colorado Springs.
Nice.
Basically, most of the time, labs are fighting and kissing their doctors' butts to try and keep them. I was turning them away. If you couldn't send a proper impression, if you couldn't send a proper bite, then I
couldn't make them a proper set of teeth.
That's right. I told them they needed to find their lab elsewhere. But still, eventually, it was that breakdown. I wasn't actually able to interact with the patient. I mean, it kind of grew in that direction, whereas they were, especially with the implants, the dentists were having me come out, take the impressions. They were having me interact with the patient more, and that's when I realized that's really where it was at.
Yeah.
Being able to work directly with the patient, being able to see their needs, to see their face even, just to know what's going to look right.
How about that gratification you get when you have the delivery of that case, those teeth that change somebody's life? I mean,
there's nothing like it.
You don't get to do that in a lab.
No. Well, again, it's just this constant barrage of faceless case pans with people's mouths in them, and you never know or see anything.
Sure.
In fact, I was to the point where I was worried that the work that I was putting out wasn't right because they didn't want to make the small changes that made it perfect. They didn't want to make anything because that takes more chair time.
Right.
And that costs more money.
Right.
That's what I really started to see was that they don't understand that taking the time to do it right the first time is what's going to make their practice thrive.
Right.
Taking the time to make sure that smile is perfect, make sure that bite is just right, make sure that their experience once they leave your office is effortless, is really what generates your business. I mean, that word of mouth. You can't rely on. There's so many people out there that need dentures. It's just not going to be a problem.
Sure.
Especially when times are tough, economy is down. People are going back to the place that they know they're going to get it done right.
Right.
Maybe someone shares their story and says, wow, my dentures were amazing. Everything was great. Your mouth is a very intimate part of your body. It's not something necessarily you're going to share. But if you have a horrible experience, if you have a nightmare of an experience, they're telling everybody and their mother.
Yeah.
And that is not going to transfer well to the success of your business.
Sure.
But the general narrative that kept coming up was, if I'm going to be able to do what I really want to do, I've got to be able to work one-on-one with patients. And so that's what I started doing from there. I actually shut down my lab. I began basically talking to any dentist that would listen to me. And I was coming up short every time.
So were you pretty stoked when we gave you that phone call, or at least I guess I did, and said, hey, Jonathan, we have this opportunity here where we have an in-house dental lab. And you're like, where's Bend, Oregon? And I was like, come check it out. It's kind of like Colorado.
That's right. I mean, honestly, when you first called, I was at a point where I just assumed it was going to be like every other time, where I would begin. The difference, though, I would say that was me, is I was no longer willing to take no for an answer. basically. Wanted to be able to do things the way I knew they needed to be done, and basically always putting the patient first.
Yeah.
And you guys were completely open to that. So right off the bat, that was refreshing.
For sure.
Yeah, it was definitely scary to pick up everything and move to Oregon.
Right.
But just the possibility that I would have the opportunity to do things the way I knew they needed to be done, be able to provide for patients the way I knew they could be provided for, it was worth the risk.
For sure. And isn't it nice? I mean, Jonathan never tells me how to do dentistry, which I appreciate. And as a dentist, do I ever tell you how to make denture teeth?
No.
That's right, because you got to respect the person that has that special skill. And as a dentist, you know, we're kind of a jack of all trades. Sometimes we're doing root canals, sometimes we're pulling teeth, sometimes we're doing implants, sometimes we're doing crowns or veneers or fillings or whatever it might be. There's just no way when you go toe to toe with somebody like Jonathan, who's been intimately in the industry of denturism and making teeth. He's made a profession out of it. It's been his life work, that I would even stand a chance to be able to fabricate a set of teeth that would really change somebody's life. I mean, that takes decades to do, and that's what Jonathan has, and he's here to offer our patients. And we're just so excited that you're here, man. It's been a wild ride, but
It has.
it's I mean, like I said in the beginning, the proof is in the pudding. Check out some of our patient testimonials. There's going to be new photos to come. Check us out on social media. We have a Facebook page, dentureartistry.com. We're on Instagram, dentureartistry. We have a YouTube channel. Our website is www.dentureartistry.com, and you can call us anytime at 541-200-7798. We do a lot of things differently, and having somebody of this caliber on our team is one of those things. You got anything to say signing off?
I'm just really excited for the future.
Me too.
I can't tell you what a shortage of dentists out there that actually care about patients and actually want to do the right thing and take care of them. We're not absolutely 100% perfect. No one is. But the main difference between us and the others is that if we mess something up, we won't put that on you. We won't make that your fault. We won't say, sorry, we've done the best we can. Here's the door. We're going to do it again, and if it ever possibly happens again, until it's right.
That's right.
But 99.9% of the time, it's right the first time, and you're walking out that door with an amazing smile.
For sure.
And a functioning bite.
And it's cool because we can do it efficiently and affordably, and you'll hear all about that when you give us a call or check us out online. So
that's right. People tend to think we sound like used car salesmen when we say,
right.
Not only do we provide the absolute best dentures potentially in the country, we do it at a rate much lower than everyone else.
Yeah, we do. Check out our prices. They're online. Give us a call. Complimentary consultations and 3D images. We're here to help you guys achieve optimal oral health. And if you need dentures, there's no better place to go. So, signing off.
Can't argue with that.
See you later.